Hello, and welcome to the Wooden Ball Show. I'm your host, Dave Ball, also known as Blinson on Reddit and at Blinson1 on Twitter. And like always, I am joined by my partner in crime, Blake Wood, who is known as Shat My Kirk on Twitter and B-Town Bomb on Reddit. Say hi, Blake.
Hello, hello, all.
How you doing on this fine, beautiful day?
It's I guess it may be beautiful up there, but it's kind of hot and humid down here because it rained a lot this morning. So
Well, it's hot and humid up here. We just ignore that portion because that's kind of just expected at this time of the year.
but other than that, the sun is out. I normally prefer cloudy days, but I know that I'm in a very small minority, so
I
there's
like
that.
cloudy days too. I hate the sun. I burn.
My
I
my
burn and then I tan after my burn goes away.
I like the sun for tanning, but my standpoint is if you've spent as many summers in Texas as I have,
Hmm.
you wouldn't like the sun either.
Yeah, I guess. So we basically have one big, giant topic today in free agency and the amazingness that went down with free agency.
Now,
And
earlier in the week, Dave and I were, I guess we were kind of debating if we should hold off on our series of NHL team overviews or if we should just go ahead and go with this. And heading into this free agency day, I didn't think there was going to be a whole lot going on, but
and then free agency day hit.
yeah,
And
yeah,
just what?
it's always a big surprise. You should expect tons of surprises on free agency day.
Yeah, but not this many. I did not expect the arms race.
The arms race in the Central Division, yes.
I mean, a
And
couple.
and
Go ahead.
and who's all of a sudden just got scary good? The Dallas Stars.
Oh, yeah, they did. I mean, Spezza as their second line center with Hempsey on his wing.
And
Come on,
I think that was Dallas's issue most of the year was
they didn't have
um,
secondary scoring. They had nothing after
mhm.
their top trio.
All they had was Ben and Sagan, and that was it.
No, they
But
had the
now,
rookie on the winger on the wing,
yes,
didn't they?
they also had Nichushkin, but
Isn't that who was on
uh,
the wing?
yes,
Okay, yeah.
but the big bulk of their scoring came from Ben and Sagan,
Mm,
and other than that, it just really bottomed out.
mm.
But now they have Spezza and Hemsky, second line people. Just imagine that. Now you have those two guys on your second line. How about that?
Hmm. I
Um,
I'm happy I don't exist in the Western Conference.
this oh, I mean, I know my team, St. Louis. I know they made some really good pickups too, but man, I I I don't want to be in this division anymore.
Yeah,
Uh,
like seriously,
uh,
it just amazes how what happened.
however, one uh, underrated thing, I guess, about the Stars in the free agency, they didn't go for a um, lot of the big name defensemen on there,
Which you
which
think they
is
would have? They don't have any big name defensemen.
they, and that's
I
their
mean, they
other
have
issue that would have uh, been greatly appreciated by fans for them to address is their defense.
I mean, you can only really address one thing at a time.
Yes, yes,
I mean, the defensive free agents weren't amazing this year, in my opinion.
but I
So,
mean,
I mean, they weren't bad by a long shot,
yeah,
but
and I think a couple of those guys at least would have been great acquisitions by the Stars.
yeah, definitely. I
But
mean,
again, they still
they could have used a Brooks or pick on their team just to kind of to help shut down people scoring against them. Needed like a Niskanen to help them passing and all that. Get the puck up to their main guys. Any of that would have been great for them.
but still, though, the Dallas Stars come up big in free agency, and now all of a sudden they're right in the thick of things with
Mm.
they're now they're going to really be battling with Chicago and St. Louis, and maybe Colorado. Colorado did had a couple good pickups there too.
Yeah. I feel so
Which we
sorry for Nashville. Nashville and Winnipeg. I feel so sorry for them.
now, Nashville did acquire James Neal,
Yeah, but
trading.
they don't have the center to pass to.
No,
Their top
no.
line center is Mike Fisher, who, in his own way, is a good player, but he's not the number one center needed to pass to James Neal, because James Neal cannot create plays; he just finishes them. That's his big thing. He can finish a play easily, but creating space, getting the puck up the ice, moving around people—that's not what he can do.
Now, one thing I wonder though is if he can ever find the perfect center uh, uh, to help him after playing that long with Crosby.
He was on Malkin's line.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
Crosby and or Malkin, whenever.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But still, they're both really good centers. I mean, if the Predator, I mean, they signed Ollie Jokinen this year. I don't know. He's a center. He's not gonna be, the center that they need him to be. But he can help unless they get, a Vincent Lecavalier maybe to help them.
you really want to get rid of Vinny, don't you?
He, Vinny is a good player. We would love to have him on our team. He just doesn't fit.
Mm.
I mean, we have him on our fourth line, and $4.5 million for a fourth line center of Vinny's Vinny's pedigree and all that is not what he should be doing. He shouldn't be a fourth line center. He should be in the top two scoring lines.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm. Well, um, I suppose the way we could format this look through free agency is just go division by division, and we'll stay in the Central Division since we opened with Dallas. We touched on Nashville a little bit. The Chicago Blackhawks,
Brad Richards,
they pick up Brad Richards. Yes.
that's a really nice pickup for them, especially at what 1.5 million I think or 2 million they got him at.
Oh yes, and I think the most important reason as to why they have him now, he'll
He'll be their second line center that they have always needed.
that well, yeah, I think
They
that's
haven't really had a second line center for a while.
yes, yes, that is true, and I still think that's yet to be seen. But what I was referring to is they'll basically give more time. They'll kind of stall essentially and wait for Tara Vine and give him more time to develop.
Yeah. That's what they'll probably end up doing. And is he on a 1-year deal? Brad Richards, do you know?
Yes. Yes, they picked him
So,
up for a 1-year deal.
so that 2 million that he's making if they don't re-sign him can help to go towards Taves and Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Help getting them re-signed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because they're gonna have that problem. Because I know there was a rumor that was coming out for 12 million a year for them or something. They're looking for.
I think what they're doing with that though, they're kind of just
Ballparking high so they can give back.
yeah, they're gonna try to negotiate from starting out high. They'll start with 12 million, but then they might go down to 11 or 10 or wherever.
I can see them going for like 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm, they're really just trying to see how much money they can squeeze out.
Yeah. That's what many people think they're going to do, but you never know.
Well, mm-hmm. Let's see, who's next?
Everybody else?
No? Well, they may have signed a couple of other
That kind of
people, but that was the more high-profile signing for them.
Yeah, I think that was it.
So next is
Colorado.
the Colorado Avalanche.
Yes.
They let go of some people, namely Paul Stastny, who we'll get to in a bit.
Yep.
But they also get some good people. They get Jerome McGinley.
I'm not a fan of that contract, honestly. 3 years, $5 million a year. He's gonna.
Yeah.
It's done.
I think McGinley I think the best thing to do would maybe be to sign him for at least 2 years max, perhaps.
Yeah.
But um, you know, entering this past season, a lot of people were thinking that he's already reached his peak and he was just going to regress downward for this season. But he certainly proved a lot of naysayers wrong.
I mean, he did score 30 goals, so.
Mm-hmm. And I believe that puts him in third in all-time active goal scorers.
Behind who exactly?
Behind Yager and somebody else.
Oh yeah, probably Yager and Ovechkin.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot Yager's still playing. How could I forget that?
Come on now.
Seriously, he's playing for every team in the league before he retires. He retires in like 2027 or something like that.
He's sticking with New Jersey again, though.
But we'll get to that later.
Good deal for the Devils there. But Colorado's kind of hoping maybe he has just a little bit left in the tank for him. I guess, they're hoping he has 3 more years left in the tank for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so.
And let's see. I know Colorado signed at least a couple more mid to high profile people. You can look some of those up.
Right now, they signed Jesse Westchester, who was originally with Florida, Zach Redman, who was originally with Winnipeg, Ben Street from Calgary, and Bruno Gervais, who played for us not during the lockout.
I think it was. I think Danny Briere went to.
Oh yeah, he went to Colorado. He was traded there.
Yeah. Yeah. He was traded for Parento.
Parento, yeah. Mm-hmm. PA Parento, which it was like Briere for PA Parento and a pick. Like such a lopsided deal for the Canadiens. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Danny Briere. He's like one of my favorite players to play the game, but he has lost his step.
Yes.
I do not get why you trade for him and give up a really good young player in PA Parento and a pick. For what you're going to get is maybe a third or fourth line center, basically, with how he has slowed down a lot. Second, if somehow he picks it up, but most likely a fourth line center.
Let's see. Next on the list, what about Winnipeg, Blake? Well, they didn't do anything.
I don't think they did.
To quote Ryan Lambert, Winnipeg didn't sign anyone because no one wants to play there except Chris Thorburn.
Oh, they signed someone. They signed Mathieu Parentu.
No, actually, you know who they did sign? Someone from Anaheim. I can't remember his name all of a sudden. Oh, Perreault.
That's what I just said. Matthew Perreault. Oh, Perreault's his last name. Mathieu
yes.
Perreault.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, is he how good of a forward is he?
He was, I know he was fairly decent when he played for Washington, at
18
least.
18 goals, 25 assists in 69 games this year.
Mm-hmm.
51 goals, 113 points in 228 career games.
And when you're playing with Getzlaf or Perry or whoever, that's not that bad,
Yeah, not bad at all. So.
And then translate that onto a less talented team, I guess, in Winnipeg, and I think that should really work out for Matty Perreault.
Yeah. One thing I wish Winnipeg would do, the goalie situation, please. Can that be fixed? Like they lost Montoya, I think was their backup.
Yep, they got Florida got picked up Montoya.
Was it Florida? Florida picked up a lot of people. I lost track of who they picked up.
Oh, I will say St. John's, their AHL team, they have a really incredible goalie. He was putting up some sweet highlight saves in the Calder Cup final.
What backup goalie did Winnipeg pick up? Or are they just gonna go with who was in the AHL? Oh, they picked up Michael Hutchinson, who was on their team originally. So I guess they just re-signed him. That means actually.
Yes. I believe that's the one from St. John's.
Yeah. He
Mhm.
played 21 games with a 1.95 and 9.38 save percentage in Calder Cup playoffs. That's not bad at all. 1.95 goals against average and 9.38. Actually, really good.
Oh, yes.
I have a feeling once they get rid of, Pavelak, they're gonna go with him. Once Pav's deal is done. Because I doubt they resign Pavelak.
Oh, you'd be surprised, though.
Yeah. I wonder
I
what
know. I
Winnipeg.
know. I would be surprised. With Winnipeg. I always expect to be surprised.
I mean, his first year of unrestricted free agency is 2017-2018. So he has a couple of years. He has 3 years left on his current contract, which pays him almost $4 million a year.
And rounding out the Central, the St. Louis Blues.
Against Minnesota.
Oh, you know what? We did forget Minnesota. We did forget the state of hockey. My apologies.
Did they
Well,
even
they
do
did pick up.
anything?
They did pick up Thomas Vanek.
Right, Thomas Vanek. I forgot
Yes.
about Thomas Vanek.
I think, and I know Cassie, one of our hockey cast hosts, has said that his issue in Montreal was that he was not on the correct wing.
That's a lot. That issue for older players.
Eh.
I mean, Vanek's what, 30, 31 years old? He's been playing on the wing for a little over 10 years now. Why would you switch him to the other side? Exactly what Pittsburgh did with Jerome McGinley
Oh yeah.
last year in the playoffs. You don't do that. If he's played there his entire career, you keep him there. That's where he's made his money.
And as long as Minnesota will put him on the correct wing, which I think is right wing.
I think I'll look that up.
As long as they put him on the correct wing, hopefully it would work out for him. Minnesota does lose Matt Molson.
He's a left wing.
Vanek is a left wing. Okay. Minnesota does lose Matt Molson, who we'll get to once we cover the Eastern Conference.
Matt Molson was also a left wing, so they kind of just replaced him with Vanek.
And I've always said Molson is just basically a Vanek but cheaper.
Oh yes, definitely. So now we'll finally go.
Yes, now. Yes. It all started in the draft when Toronto traded Carl Gunnarsson and I forget who had the pick originally. No, I think we had Pollock and a draft pick, and we traded both of those to Toronto, and we got back Carl Gunnarsson. Now, Pollock is a good player, but most of the time, whenever I saw people, I guess, complain about this trade, a lot of people that were Pollock supporters, the only thing they would mention were intangibles. He was a good player. He was a tough player. He was very good with the puck. Those kind of intangible things. And according to stats, unpopular opinion, I guess, Gunnarsson is better than Pollock according to stats. I think it is a good pickup for us. He'll probably slot in with Shattenkirk, who should be a very good fit for him.
Yeah,
and then,
definitely.
Yes, and then free agency comes, and for the longest time, Spezza was the the biggest rumored name for quite a while after the season.
Hmm.
But alas, on free agent day in the morning hours, sometime around 9:30, 10ish maybe, St. Louis picks up hometown boy Paul Stastny. I think it was
9:30, 10. You mean like noon? Had to be noon. Free
no,
agency
no.
opens at noon.
I was asleep when he was signed, and I woke up somewhere around noon that day. So
So it was 1 o'clock our time.
yeah, it could have been sometime in the
I
morning,
don't know,
but
whatever. But yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. But, now I forget the deal. I think it was 3 years, maybe.
Look it up.
Could have been more than that. But while you're looking that up, um, this is what we needed all along, and it took Armstrong, I guess, to know it took him a little longer to notice. We didn't fill this need in the on the trade deadline, but
4-year deal.
4-year deal, yes.
4-year deal at $7 million a year. Wow.
hmm But he did it still. He fulfilled that need, and the rumored top line now will be Steen, Stastny, Backus.
Hmm.
So perhaps Backus will be trying out some wing. That'll be rather interesting to see.
You're sure it's not going to be Oshie?
Oh, Oshie will probably be in the second line at this point.
I don't know, because the depth chart on Cap Geek has it as Steen, Stastny, and Oshie, and then Backus on the second line center.
I I don't see why you would put Backus on the second line, to be honest.
Is he a natural center?
Yes, he is a natural center.
What about
But,
Oshie? Oshie might be. Isn't Oshie a natural winger?
fairly certain he is. I
That's
all of a
probably why
sudden
they. That's
cannot.
probably why they have it set up like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
hmm
a right wing center,
Yeah.
so that's probably why they have it set up
I
like that.
I would quite fully expect that first line to be Steen, Stastny, Backus.
They're both right
Um,
wing centers, so who knows?
hmm And the Blues also pick up another center. I think he's a center, if I remember correctly. Yori Lehtera. He was
Yeah, I think he is. I'll look that up too.
he was originally drafted by the Blues in 2008, but he went straight to the KHL and he played there for a while,
Hmm.
and then we brought him back here. And um, I think it was during the draft, maybe after the signing was made. This came out. I think it was during the draft, but he was talking with Doug Armstrong, or GM,
Hmm.
and he was telling him that I think his words were it was a mistake for him to not sign with St. Louis before the draft. Or,
Really?
well, actually, no, you can't do that anyway. But
You can sign before the draft.
oh, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's probably what he
If
said.
he's
That.
part of your organization, he can sign.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We still had his rights
Yeah, if you have his
since we
rights, you can
drafted
sign
him. So
anytime.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
just after the trade deadline, if you sign them, they cannot play on your team for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So since the playoffs were done, he could have signed with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And but still, it's also a good pickup, and he actually played with Tarasenko some in the KHL. So
Also,
there's
he
some
is a
good.
center, by the way. He is a center.
Yeah. So there's some good chemistry going on there.
Hmm.
I know another intangible and all that, but well, I mean,
Chemistry is it's underrated and overrated at the same time.
yes.
Good players will always find ways to make good plays with other good players. Doesn't matter if they have chemistry or not. It's just it helps if they do.
hmm Well, that concludes the Central Division. On to the Pacific Division now.
We'll just go down the list of how they ranked at the end of the year. So first is Anaheim. Anaheim made a splash right during draft day, was it? Was that trade that went on?
Yes, they excuse me. They picked up Ryan Kessler
Hmm.
um, for I think maybe a player and a couple of picks, was it?
Something like that. It wasn't a very good, I think, deal
Yeah.
for Vancouver's end, I think. Let me look that up too.
And I
Oh,
believe they also signed maybe one or two more players
I think that's all they really.
the other day. I know one of them was mid to high profile. Well, I guess while I'm speaking, if you could find those.
For what they did.
Yes, who all Anaheim picked
They
up
have
the other day.
signed goaltender Jason LaBarbera.
They got him
From
from
Clayton. They got him
Chicago,
from
I believe.
Edmonton. He was on Edmonton.
Huh.
They got Clayton Stoner from Minnesota, and that's all they did during draft day.
That one's the most interesting.
Hmm.
Wonder how Clayton Stoner will fare in Anaheim.
And
He
Ryan Kessler deal was Nick Bonio.
oh,
Can't
Nick
say that name.
Bonino. Nick Bonino, and I
Yes,
could
that
have
one.
sworn
Lucas Fiza, a
mm-hmm,
first and a third round pick, which I
mm-hmm.
guess isn't bad in all honesty.
Vancouver's going for a lot of defensemen, I've noticed.
Hmm.
Um,
When you do a rebuild, you rebuild from goaltender first, which they have a very good goaltender in Eddie Lack, and they have a mentor with him now with Ryan Miller.
mm-hmm,
I guess we'll jump into Vancouver now.
yeah.
And then they have that. Then they have the Sedin still on their team. Who is Edler? Is that their defenseman?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's Edler. Yeah, they have a very good defenseman in Edler there. So when you go through a rebuild, you rebuild with your goaltender first, which they've done, and then you start on your defensive core because they take a little bit longer to work. Then after you get them ready, you get the forward core going because forwards are easier to see how they're going to pan out. They're easier to develop, I guess, in a sense.
Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, Vancouver picks up goaltender Ryan Miller. Um, uh, I do feel it may be, uh, I guess, kind of a 1A, 1B kind of thing, with Lack probably being the 1A.
Hmm.
I kind of
I don't know
feel
about
that,
that.
well,
With
you know,
how good Ryan Miller is, would you want him to be your 1A? 1B, I mean.
well, I kind of feel he'll be more of a, I guess,
He's more
kind
of
of that
a role guy.
mentor status deal. You know, of course he's going to get some playing time in, but I imagine that the biggest message is they want to move forward with Eddie Lack, and
I mean, they signed Ryan Miller for 3 years, I believe.
mhm,
Something like that, 2 or 3 years. So he's not gonna be there for a long time. It's a perfect amount of time to mentor Eddie Lack. I guess
mhm,
Ryan Miller has kind of accepted he won't get a Stanley Cup now if he's going to Vancouver, though who knows what's going to happen with them.
mhm.
And yeah, they also signed Rabada. Rabada?
Ah, yes, they
Radim
pick up
Rabada.
Radim Verbata from the now Arizona Coyotes.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, I believe he was a defenseman too.
Forward.
Oh, okay. Well, uh, I guess they're maybe getting a little, just a little bit of a head start on the forwards there.
Yeah. They
And
also Dustin
and
Jeffries. They also got that's it. Who's also a forward. He was originally on Dallas.
oh yes,
So
well, originally he was with Pittsburgh, but
then he
he
got
was
traded
yes.
in the Brandon Morrow trade, probably.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That would be it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess touching on the Stanley Cup champion Los Angeles Kings, you
Hmm.
know, since they won the cup, they don't have to. They don't really want to sign a whole lot of people. I think their biggest issue is just re-signing at the free agency day. Dwight King. They already had Gabrick signed, which I think ended up leading to Willie Mitchell leaving because they couldn't afford him because they have
Hmm.
Gabrick now for a lot. And their biggest issue on free agency day was re-signing Dwight King, which I have not heard anything
I don't
in
think
that
we
regard.
yet. Yeah. So then they've signed two like no-name players, I guess.
Oh yes, they signed former Blue Adam Cracknell.
Yeah.
Um,
He any good?
he has talent. I describe him as he's a player with a lot of untapped talent. Give him more time to develop, and he'll do good. He showed flashes of brilliance
Hmm.
in the last playoff series against Chicago, and in the one before that against Los Angeles.
Yeah. So
But as it stands right now, I don't think he'll be able to crack the Kings roster.
yeah, they have a very deep roster.
Mm-hmm.
And they signed somebody else, and I'm gonna butcher this name. David Van der Golk. He's from Colorado. I butchered that last name.
I've actually never heard of that person
He's
until
probably
they signed him.
yeah, probably a had 3 shots in 2 games with the Colorado Avalanche.
Hey,
He had
it's a
22 points in 33 games with their AHL team.
it's a start, I guess. 3 shots, 2 games. That's
But
not
he
bad.
played parts of 5 NHL seasons with the Flames and the Avalanche. And in
Hmm.
that time, he has 2 goals and 13 points in 48 games.
Hmm.
So
Well,
he is a career third, fourth liner. But who knows?
uh,
Yeah, so
rounding out the California teams, the San Jose Sharks.
they did
Um,
nothing.
I think as it stands right now, they lost more people than they signed.
And they signed Jeff Scott today, or
They
yes,
did.
John Scott, sorry, and Taylor Fendon. Fendun.
I know they signed. Fairly certain they signed someone else today or maybe yesterday.
I feel like they did too.
I did not know they signed John Scott. That is really
Yes,
interesting and kind
they
of
did.
hilarious.
Yes. Oh yeah, they did sign somebody else today. Who was that? I'm gonna look that up too.
Yes. There's no more.
Oh yeah, they traded for Time again.
Oh yes, they
That's
traded for
one of
him.
my former players.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like they signed somebody else. Did they? No, maybe not. No, I don't think so actually.
Yeah.
Brad Stewart. Brad Stewart. They traded for Brad Stewart. That's who it was.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And there's no more Dan Boyle,
Hmm.
and there's no more Marty Havlet.
Yeah, which was I don't get why they bought him out. I don't get it.
Yeah. I guess just the time was coming. He didn't have that great of a season, so they figured, this was it.
Hmm. Buy him out now while we can. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Let's see. The Calgary Flames, the Edmonton Oilers, the Alberta teams, they had some really interesting acquisitions. We'll start with Calgary. They signed goaltender Jonas Hiller.
Which I think is a really good, deal for them.
Yes,
Jonas Hiller is a number one goaltender. I don't care what anybody says. He can play number one.
and not only can he play and has that talent, he can also be a real good mentor for Kari Ramo.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm not sure how much mentoring Carmen Ramo needs. He's 28 years old. He's entering what will be his goaltender prime.
Well, you you can never get enough. You you can never get enough learning.
Yeah, but he's kind of hitting that age where he should know what to do. Not like he's a goaltender of the future. He's more of a goaltender of the now with how young he is, with like his age actually. So he should be kind of already had it figured out, in my opinion.
Mm. And a big loss for Calgary is Mike Camilleri as he goes to New Jersey.
I mean, we all saw that coming, though.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
And New Jersey got a lot of people. But we'll get to them in a bit.
Calgary also signed Mason Raymond.
Yes.
Part of Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And then they signed Derek Engelland.
Oh, yes, they signed Derek Engelland, whose name you heard a few times if you followed the Pittsburgh Penguins this past season.
Ooh.
I said if.
No, I'm just booing the Penguins.
Oh, okay.
I hear the name, and my automatic reaction is to boo.
Oh, okay. I would have loved to have seen you watch March of the Penguins.
I never watched that movie because I refuse.
But Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, anyway.
This year,
they're neighbors to the north. I think Edmonton is to the north.
I'm not sure. We should have asked them last week.
I don't know. Maybe you can look up a map real quick. Let's see.
Edmonton. They have re-signed Luke Gazdic.
Mm-hmm.
No clue. Keith Oley.
Oh, yes. They get Keith Oley from Tampa.
Mark Fane.
From New Jersey. That one's...
And Benoit Pouliot.
Oh, yes. That one is the most interesting, I think. Because, Pouliot had a pretty good playoffs for the...
He was one of their best players in the
playoffs. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
He made that team where it went to where it was. They had a dominant fourth and third line. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And, in Edmonton, I could maybe see him being maybe a second line man.
Yeah. He can definitely be that type of thing. I mean, Mark Fane is also a very good defenseman on that end, so he can probably help slowly shore up their defense, which they need desperately.
Yes. In the Arizona Coyotes now, we're going to have to get used to that, folks. It's the Arizona Coyotes now. They made a couple medium-sized splashes.
I guess you can say that. They signed goaltender Mike McKenna, defenseman Andrew Campbell, forward Alexandre Bolduc. He was on your team.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
And then Joe Vitale.
Joe Vitale, another...
goaltender Devin Dubnyk, really? Really, Arizona? Really? You're going with Dubnyk?
When he was traded to Montreal, he was immediately sent down to their AHL team. And
I guess you can't really blame him for how bad he is.
Well,
I mean, he was, brought
Edmonton's
up in Edmonton goaltender. He never really got a chance. He never really got a fighting chance.
No. And, Arizona, they actually got rid of Tomas Greiss. So, I don't know how, but...
We'll get to where he went later.
Yeah, and I don't know how, but I guess somehow they thought Dubnyk was a real good replacement for Greiss.
I mean, they might go with Mike McKenna.
They could, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And have Dubnyk as the backup.
Mm-hmm. And...
though he could do good in Arizona because it's a very defensive system.
Yes.
A very defensive system. And Sean Berg, I think, is the goalie coach. He is a very good goalie coach. I think if anybody could turn Dubnyk around, that goalie coach could. Sean Berg.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
And Arizona also getting rid of Mike Ribeiro.
Mm-hmm. They bought him out.
Yes.
So.
I mean, that wasn't the exact wording they used. I guess, maybe they took the steps to buy him out, but, you could just basically say they bought him out.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you take the steps to buy someone out and just be like, never mind.
Just imagine doing that.
April Fools.
we're gonna buy you out. No, I'm just kidding.
Ah,
You can stay here. You don't have to move.
you should have seen the look on your
You should have
face.
seen your face.
Ah, oh. I believe that's all the Pacific teams, right? LA, Anaheim, San Jose,
Uh,
Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Phoenix, Arizona. Huh?
yeah, we had everybody.
Alrighty. Now on to the Eastern Conference,
Atlantic first.
the Atlantic.
Boston is easy. Nothing happened. They lost
No,
Sean Thornton.
they yes, they lost Thornton. They lost to
Lost
Ginla,
lost Gingla. Lost Johnson.
Mazzaros.
Mike Moore. And then they signed a goaltender, Jeremy Smith,
Yes.
who was probably some type of backup in the Columbus system apparently. But yeah, Mike Moore. That's they didn't have the cap space to do anything,
Yeah. No.
so
Um,
I guess you can kind of consider that.
and I mean, you with Boston, after the season they had, you just had a feeling that this kind of just dropping everyone would happen.
Hmm.
After this season, they're I guess they're maybe retooling maybe a little bit, and they're gonna come out next season. They're gonna be much fresher.
Hopefully,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, you never know how Chara is going to be this year.
hmm
I mean, Iginla was one of their biggest, pieces. He was a 30-goal scorer this year. And then they lost one of their better penalty killers in Sean Thornton. I think he was one of their better penalty killers, at least. But still, I mean, Andres Mazzaros was nothing to them. They signed him at the trade deadline. Chad
hmm
Johnson was a very good backup. So, who knows what they're going to do. I don't know if Mike Moore did anything for them, so. But only getting Jeremy Smith in free agency, I don't know what their backup situation is going to be like this year.
And next on the Atlantic.
Tampa. Tampa Bay, they did things this year.
Oh, they did lots of things. They got rid of some people. They gained some people.
Gained, they signed Nabokov?
They did.
Really?
Yes. That's
Signed Evgeny Nabokov. And then they signed Brian Boyle. They also signed Mike Bloden.
Hmm.
Then they signed another Mike Angelides. I am horrible with last name.
they signed Brian Boyle.
Yes, I didn't get to that. Did I miss that name? They signed Anton Strawman. Did I miss Brandon Boyle? He was right there. I thought I said him. But yeah, Brian Boyle, Anton Strawman, and then Evgeny Nabokov apparently. So pretty good players in their own rights.
And I would love to see Brian Boyle in Tampa, because I think Tampa's more that kind of finesse, speed kind of
speed game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They lost a good number of people.
Yes.
They lost. So the second Mike was a re-signing, so who cares about that?
Mm-hmm.
Then there's Pierre Cedric Labrie. They lost Mike Kostka. I can't say last names.
They
Keith
also
Holloway,
lost
Anders Limbach.
Anders Lindback. He went to Dallas. Another name who I forgot to mention. Which I guess that means they're maybe going to get rid of Timmy Thomas, perhaps.
Oh, they didn't re-sign Timmy Thomas.
There you go.
So he was a free agent, I believe.
So they needed their backup goalie, and they got Lindback.
They also signed. No, they lost him. Never mind. Never mind about that. They lost another backup goaltender who's not really important. Yeah, they did pretty good for themselves. Free agency signings. So, next team on the list, Montreal. Who did they traded for PA Parento?
They got rid of Brian Gionta, perhaps PK Subban for captain.
If he resigns, he's an RFA this year still.
Honestly, I don't see how he doesn't.
I don't see how he doesn't. I'm just Montreal messed up so much with this
Well,
guy.
yeah.
Like he obviously is going to be your franchise player. Why would you lock him up to a bridge contract like that?
Hmm.
When you know he could be breaking out and maybe winning the Norris Trophy, maybe leading your team through like 3 rounds of the playoffs, being the most dynamic player you have. Like they should have seen it coming. You can just tell by looking at PK Subban that he can be the type of player that does this, and they messed up, and now they're gonna have to pay a lot of money to keep him.
Well, yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, no team's gonna offer sheet him because because that will make it easier for uh, Montreal to sign him because Montreal will match it no matter what. They are not hurting for money. They can
Nope.
match. They're not hurting for cap space. So, do they get anybody a big name? They got goaltender Joey MacDonald. I think that's it from Calgary. I know he was their backup there. Well,
Hmm.
he was the Florida's former goaltender of the future, I believe, actually. Manny Malo, Malhotra, I mean, whatever he was.
Oh, Manny Malhotra. Hey.
Yeah, is he a big name player? He's from Carolina, so I wouldn't really know.
Um, I guess you could say he's big name,
Yeah, I
but not
mean,
because
yeah,
he's like
he's
really talented or anything.
probably a PK or something.
Yeah.
I mean, they also got a defenseman, Tom Gilbert, who was from Florida. I think he was one of their top 6 defensemen,
Hmm.
but Florida doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah, they did pretty well for themselves, Montreal, I guess. They have a very good team to kind of center around Max Pacioretty, Gallagher, I think that's on their team, and
Hmm.
PK Subban. They have 3 very good players there that to build around. So I guess next on it is Detroit, who, from what I understand from Detroit fans, hasn't really done much, and what they have done, they messed up.
Mainly because they re-signed Kyle Quincy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
re-signed Kyle Quincy. I think that's all they've done basically.
They got rid of some players. Yeah.
I don't see I don't see anything on previous teams here that they did.
They let Patrick Eves. No. No, wait, never mind. No, I forgot that Eves went to Nashville because he was part of the Leguan trade,
Hmm.
and then he went to Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. They really haven't done much.
Yeah.
They signed Kevin Porter from Buffalo. I
Hmm.
don't know. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Detroit was fairly quiet in this
Mhm.
free agency period. For now at least, I suppose.
Yeah. The next team on
Um,
the list, Ottawa, and
oh,
whew, whew,
Ottawa.
Ottawa. I mean, they did good with re-signing Milan Milicic. He was one of their better. He was a couple years ago. He was
Uh,
leading the league in assists, I believe. So it was him, Drew, and Crosby were each leading in one category. I forget what it was. I think Milicic was. I don't remember, but then the 3 of them got concussed at the same time. That's all I remember from that. But he's a very good player in his own right. So,
and
but
Ottawa's problem is they have a GM that does not want to spend money.
you mean they have a owner that doesn't let them spend money?
Oh yeah, owner. Pardon me. Um,
Yeah, the internal cap, which is
yes.
killing them. It's the reason they lost Spezza, basically. It's the reason they lost Daniel Affertson, because they cannot put together a team that can challenge, and these players want to leave so they can try to win the cup.
Hmm. Oh, another captain gone. Perhaps Eric Carlson for captain.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that because they're just going to trade him away within the next couple of years.
Well, yeah. Uh, that C on your chest.
It's a
It's
curse.
basically like a
C stands for
passport,
curse. The capture
like in Buffalo there.
curse. Yeah, basically. Yeah. They also lost Alex Hemsey, who signed in Dallas, so you can go back with Spezza. They lost Actually, that's all they lost.
Hmm.
They signed Michael Stato, who was on their team originally. Carter Camper. They re-signed David. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that last name. It has too many Z's in it. Then they also signed Aaron Johnson, who was part of the Rangers, I think, system.
Mm.
So they did some stuff.
Next on the list, the Toronto Maple Leafs, who's even more of an interesting case than Ottawa, I'd say.
Oh, Toronto. Didn't they get Boland?
No, they got rid of Bolin.
That's who they got rid of, right?
Hmm.
I thought they signed some. Didn't they sign somebody that everyone's making fun of them for? I feel like they did besides David Clarkson.
I think people just make fun of him anyway.
Yeah.
They did sign Stefan Robidoux.
Mm-hmm.
That one might be it because of his of his leg injuries,
Mm-hmm.
and he would be that much of a risk.
How much did they sign him for? 3-year deal, and it doesn't say how much. 3 years, $3 million a year for 3 years. It's not bad, but who knows? Leo Komarov, they resigned. Who he just came back from the KHL, I believe.
Yes, he was a star in the KHL. He was
So he's making a
doing
comeback.
pretty good.
Yeah. So how much is he making? I don't remember. I think he has 2.95 a year, so not bad at all. For 4 years, I think that's something people are making fun of for how long they signed him for.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
They lost goaltender Drew McIntyre. They lost Nikolai Kumulin. Lost Jake Clement. That's it.
They lost Mason Raymond,
Yeah, Mason
as
Raymond,
we mentioned earlier.
Dave Boland, T.J. Brennan, and I feel like they traded for somebody. Or they traded for somebody.
They had they traded for Pollock. They traded for Pollock in the draft.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that was about it
Yeah.
for their trading.
Mm-hmm. There's no trade counter anymore on NHL.
Next
So
on the list, the Florida Panthers. They got a really interesting cast of people on their team now.
oh yes, they did something.
Oh,
I don't know if it's a good something, but they did something.
Dave Boland,
UC Jokinen, Shaw
UC
Thornton,
Jokinen, Willie Mitchell,
Enzi, Al Montoya. They did something. I mean, they're able to spend the actual cap now with their new owners.
Mm-hmm. On top of drafting Aaron Ekblad, they get all these people.
So they could have a very good team with Huberdeau on their team. I think they could do something. They're going to do something, I believe. They're going to make noise. They're obviously not close to winning the cup or anything.
No.
But I think they pulled themselves out of the McDavid lottery, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least decrease their chances at the McDavid lottery. So who knows what they're going to do there.
And it's also impressive considering they didn't lose much. They lost a couple of people, but they certainly didn't lose as much as they gained.
They lost Tom Gilbert, who just probably a depth defenseman for them. Scott Clemenson, who they're trying to get rid of anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse Winchester, who I don't know. So that's all they really lost. They did really well this year. So.
Oh yes.
And then after Florida is Buffalo. Buffalo? What? I thought you were rebuilding Buffalo. Like seriously, signing Matt Molson, Brian Giunta, Cody McCormick, Marcus Foligno, Andre Mazzaros, and then Tyson Strachan, who I think is just a depth defenseman, but still, you're supposed to be rebuilding. You drafted Sam Reinhart, I think it was. Or did they draft Bennett?
No, they got Reinhart.
They did get Reinhart. They drafted Sam Reinhart. Matt Molson came back because he loved it there, apparently. Brian Giunta
Oh,
wanted to go home. Andres Mazaros is a very dynamic defenseman when he's on his game.
yes.
When he's off his game, he's but when he is on, he is so dynamically offensive. So, yeah, I don't know what to think of Buffalo now. They may
I
have just
mean,
put themselves out of the McDavid lottery too.
yeah. And, I guess the high point of this draft free agency class, I guess, would be Molson, perhaps.
Oh yeah,
He didn't
showing
do
that
that
he
bad when he was.
loves. Yeah, he didn't do that bad
Oh,
there. Showing that it's a place he would love to play, and that's gonna look good on of free agents wanting to come there in the future because they see that this player came back there after he was just traded during the season,
yes.
meaning it's a good place to be. Because no players want to go back to an organization that treats you horrible.
No, no.
And it shows that this organization can treat you right to people. And that's going to help them in a long way. So we'll see what happens with them.
Mm-hmm.
I
That
guess we're going to slip into the Metropolitan Division. So,
and we're not going alphabetically here because it's going to take a while for us to put it all alphabetically, and we don't want to do that. We're just
yeah.
going by order of finish.
Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Pittsburgh. First off, they traded away James Neal
Mm-hmm.
during the draft.
Which, I guess is
It's the we don't want to deal with your crap anymore trade.
even though he,
Even though he
on the stat
says
sheet at least,
he,
he was
yeah,
uh,
there's only
okay,
so
I
much you
guess.
can put up with when you're
Mm-hmm.
doing the crap he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess the Ask Neil A thing kind of opened their eyes on Twitter
Oh,
because that was the purest, best godsend to ever happen to Twitter. It was amazing.
yes.
So that might just be my personal, fault on it. I don't know what other people think, but I loved it. Uh, but anyway, yes, Pittsburgh actually did quite a few things. They re-signed Zach Sill, lost Joe Vitale, lost Henry Zonalchuk, lost Chris Connor, lost Matt Niskanen, lost Derek Englund, lost Brooks Orpik, lost Tanner Glass, and lost Jussi Jokinen, who was one of their better top six forwards.
Oh, yes.
I mean, they ended up gaining. They re-signed Mark Gock. They signed Taylor Corney, who was a defenseman in St. Louis' system.
Oh, Taylor Chorney. He
Chorney.
was. Um, he did fairly good when he played for the Chicago Wolves. Yeah.
I feel like I should have you reading off these names because I butchered every single one.
Yeah.
They re-signed Nick Drazonik. They signed Thomas Grice, Blake Como, and then Christian Aronoff to a very good 1 year deal. 1 year, like
Oh,
$4 million, I think.
yes.
A very good deal for the type of defenseman that Aronoff is. Though
Mm-hmm.
they didn't really. I guess he's kind of a mix, I guess, of Niskanen and Brooks Orpik in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
He's not leaning either way to be very good. He's a very good like two-way defenseman. So
Now, speaking of Pittsburgh in general, the feeling a lot of people got from Pittsburgh after their playoff loss to the Rangers was that was going to be the end of the era. They're going to fire Bilesma. They're going to let go of their general manager. They're going to do all kinds of stuff with the roster, and that's exactly what they did. They let go of Bilesma, let go of their GM, and now here's all their players going out. They're going to get some. They're going to get some fresh faces in, and it's almost going to be like a brand new kind of thing of Penguins hockey.
that they're going to keep for 3 years until they get a new GM in who's going to blow up the team himself.
Yes.
This is perfect. But yeah, they have done things. I was very mad about the Christian Aronoff signing because he's a good defenseman, and
No.
they're not
Yeah.
supposed to fix their defense because that's what everyone exploits their defense,
Hmm.
and it's gonna make them harder to beat now. Though they did lose a huge, they lost two of their best, goal scorers, and UC Okudin and James Neal. So we'll see if anything comes from that. That's actually was both of, I think, Malkin's line mates actually. So
Yes.
Malkin's gonna have to get used to two new line mates,
Oh.
which it should be easy for him. He
Oh
is,
yeah.
Evgeny Malkin.
Hmm.
He's a very good player. He can pretty much get along with anybody, I believe. So, but yeah.
Next up, the
Huh.
defending Eastern Conference champion, New York Rangers.
Weird.
Um,
So Rangers. What did they do?
they mainly
Nothing.
just got rid of a few people. They made a couple of good pickups, a couple of interesting pickups,
Mm-hmm.
but they just cleared out a few folk.
Mm-hmm.
They did pick up Dan Boyle on defense.
Yeah, they Dan Boyle they picked up. Where's that list? They re-signed Dominic Moore. They picked up Dan Boyle, picked up Chris Mueller, picked up Tanner Glass, picked up Mike Kostka, lost Anton Strawman, lost Brad Richards, who they bought out.
Hmm.
They signed Cedric Desjardins.
Huh.
They lost Brian Boyle. They lost Stu Bickle, re-signed Steven Kempfer, signed Matt Henwick. And then they lost Aaron Johnson and signed Nick Tarnowski, yeah. So they did things. I
They
don't know if
did,
they're good or
yeah.
bad things. They lost
Yeah.
a very good fourth line. So
Oh, yes.
I don't know what they're gonna do because of that. I mean, they still have Dominic Moore, so they still have a little aspect of it. But losing Brian Boyle and who's the other one on that fourth line? Who was that? We talked about him earlier.
Oh, we did. Hmm.
What was his name? I'm just blanking on his name right now.
Hmm.
Oh, Pouliot.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They
Then, yeah.
they have lost a good part of their depth scoring. I will have to see what these new faces bringing in. I mean, Tanner Glass is not a scorer.
No.
I think that one of the things that was said about him, he's actually thought of to be one of the worst hockey players in the NHL right now. I mean, he was
Oh,
playing for
my.
Pittsburgh, so
Hmm.
who knows how true that is? Because he is a third, fourth liner on a team that has very little third, fourth line depth. So who knows what he could actually do? They lost Anton Strawman, who was one of their better defensemen this year.
Oh, yes.
Uh, Brian Boyle, they should not have let Brian Boyle go. And yeah, I don't know what they were thinking in letting the players they let go, letting them go. We'll see what holds for them this coming year. And now on to my team.
Yes.
My team basically did nothing. We were going into free agency with a negative cap space.
And no news is good news.
I mean, we
For the
did
most part, I
re-sign
assume.
players. We re-signed Jason Atkinson, that was a great choice.
Hmm.
Jason Atkinson is one of our. He's a very good young forward. He's a left wing, which we need. So we'll see how he does. He led our AHL team the past like 3 seasons in goal scoring. So he's a very good AHL goal scorer. So we'll see how well it translates up to here. He played with us the last game of this season, last game of last season, and he played the entire playoffs this year against the Rangers, which he did not look out of place whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's finally time for him to be Jason Atkinson that we all think he can be. We signed they're going to be our seventh defenseman, and Nick Schultz, who is a very good seventh defenseman, I guess.
Now, is that the one you got from Columbus?
Yeah,
Is
he came
it
from
that Nick
Columbus.
Schultz?
Yeah, that Nick Schultz.
Okay, yeah.
He's a seventh defenseman. That's all we can expect from him. He's serviceable as a sixth defenseman. So we signed two AHLers and Zach Stornicki and Andrew Gordon. They're going to go to our AHL team, most likely to help having them start compete. We re-signed Ray Emery as our backup, which makes me happy.
Alrighty.
And then it's not on this list, but we also signed Zap. What was his last name? He was from the DEL in Germany. He was the 5-time champion of the DEL league for the Eisenberg Berliners or whatever.
Oh.
It's where Briere and Giroux played during the lockout. He played with them. So that's kind of, I guess, they were scouting him out for us, and he's going to be our third goalie in our system, because we have a new goaltender, and Anthony Stolar is coming up to play on our AHL team. He's our best goaltending prospect. And we did not re-sign Cal Heater, who was our other AHL goalie, and which actually makes some of us kind of sad, because we've all been high on Heater for a while now. So that's that. So the next team on our list, Columbus.
They did a couple things, I gather.
Yeah, they did not sign anybody, did they? They did not sign a single person. They lost Nick Schultz, they lost Jeremy Smith, they lost Carter Camper, lost Mike McKenna, lost Jack Skelley, and lost Cody Brass, lost Blake Comoyu. I don't know how to say the last name.
Boy.
Lost Derek McKenzie.
Oh boy.
They lost. I mean, most of them, I believe, were AHLers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they lost. The only people that were on their NHL team, I think, were Derek McKenzie and Blake Comoyu. Not a good last name. And they were, I think, third, fourth liners, so not terribly difficult to, replace.
Their only biggest acquisition was through a trade. Umberger for Hart.
No, that never happens. Never happens. Don't know what you're talking about.
But welcome back, Umby, right?
I'd rather have Hartnell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess welcome back, Umber. But yeah, that's what they did. Nothing really much to report with them. We'll see how they do, and it's storming really badly here now.
Nice.
So Washington. Oh, Washington.
Oh, boy.
Washington.
Now, earlier when we first talked about Dallas and we mentioned that Niskanen and or Orpik would have been good pickups for the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much for Washington.
Well, Niskanen isn't a bad deal.
No.
He could be very good and serviceable for them, but Brooks Orpik.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read this deal off to you guys. Where was it? It's a... Oh, where is that? Come on, Brooks Orpik. 5-year deal. 5-year deals from Brooks Orpik at $27.5 million. I think that's a little under $5 million a year? What was it? I don't feel like... Oh. They are giving him $5.5 million a year for 5 years.
Well...
Seriously? The guy is 33. He is not worth $5.5 million.
For 5 years.
For 5 years. He is slow. He's big. He's slow. And he's a serviceable defenseman in his own right. Yes, he is a good defenseman. But a defensive defenseman at that. That money could be used to go somewhere else. Giving you guys a bigger defensive depth scoring outside of Ovechkin. And wow, I can't believe they did that.
Oh.
I mean, they did a good job with signing Niskanen.
Mm-hmm.
He is a 7-year, $40.25 million a year. Which isn't too bad.
And outside of those two, I don't think Washington picked up anyone else.
Uh, no one of note, it seems.
Hmm. And I also
They,
don't
they
think
lost
they.
Gabrovsky, which is a big deal for them.
Did you
Uh,
say Bobrovsky?
Gabrovsky.
Oh, well.
Mikhail Gabrovsky.
Mm-hmm.
Probably butchering that last name. But I think we're kind of used to that by now.
Well.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess they did things. We'll see how it pounds out for them. New Jersey. New
Oh
Jersey did a
yes,
couple many things.
they have quite the cast coming to New Jersey now.
Oh, yes. I mean, they're all older players, too. That's the thing. They
Uh,
re-signed Stefan Gianta, re-signed Steven Bernier, but that's not who we're talking about.
mm-hmm.
Scott Clemenson as a backup for Corey Schneider, who Scott Clemenson, I guess, is serviceable.
Yeah.
But next, Martin Havlat. I think
For
it's like $1.5 million.
for a year though, that
Yeah,
one makes it not that bad.
not a bad deal for Havlat.
That,
Type of player
mm-hmm.
he is. He can
Mm-hmm.
play very good with Elias. I think they're both
Oh yes.
from the same country, so they played I think together before.
Mm-hmm.
They signed Mike Camilleri, one of the biggest left wings on the market.
Oh.
It was him and Vanek kind of tied at the top with Molson beneath them. And they did a very good job with signing him too.
I
They've
think
kind
that one was just for a year. Or
let me see. Does it say? For $25 million for 5 years.
oh, 5 years.
$5 million a year for 5 years. She's 32 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He could do very well for them. So.
Mm-hmm. And they also, I know they must have picked up somebody else. I think there's someone we're leaving out.
No. No, that's all it said here, unless they traded for somebody. But I don't think I think that's all they've done.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they lost Mark Fane, one of their better defensemen.
Mm-hmm.
They've re-signed Steven Bernier, re-signed Gianta. And that's it. That's all it says here.
Oh,
I don't think they got anybody else, so. It feels like they did do something else. Carolina. Well, Carolina is attempting to keep the Stalls together because they re-signed Jared Stahl.
Yes. And other than that, I don't think they were very quiet, I noticed.
They re-signed Michael Jordan. Literally, that's the name. They re-signed Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Stahl, Zach Boyachuk, Jay Clement, Greg Nabitskas. I don't know. Lost Brent Suter. Gained Drew McIntyre. Lost Justin Peters. Gained Brad Malone. Re-signed Jerry Toulouse. And lost Manny Mahlaret. So, nothing of really note.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. And then finally, last
yes.
but not least, the Islanders. The Islanders started off with their thing a while ago with gaining Halak first off.
Mm-hmm.
They did a very good job securing their goaltending for a while.
Oh yes.
And they actually did a very good job in free agency too.
Mm-hmm. And they got rid of Nabokov, so that's probably their goal unit all wrapped up there.
They re-signed Nikolai Kulemin, Mikhail Gabrovsky, Dave Legio, Zach Skille, Henry Zolnarchuk. He must love the Atlantic Division. I mean, the Metropolitan Division now. They've signed Corey Conchar. They lost Nabokov, which is a godsend for them.
Oh yes, they did sign Corey Conacher, yeah.
And then they also signed Chad Johnson, who is a very good backup goaltender.
Yes, the New York Islanders is going to be a fun bunch to watch, goaltending wise.
I mean, this has actually been a very silent arms race in the Metropolitan Division this year, also.
It's much less silent than the Central Division by far.
I mean, you guys kind of grabbed headlines this year with your arms race.
Oh,
we got the kind of the 1B players in our division. in the free agency.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how it all turns out now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have
Those
anything
are,
else?
well, that was our team by team look at the draft day, but just a
Free agency
couple
day?
fun segments here. We'll kind of tell you who we think were the big winners and losers, perhaps by division and overall, I suppose. I
Yeah,
suppose
the
we'll
Central
start by
Division first.
division and start with the Central.
Well, the winners, I think the biggest winners are Dallas. Hands down, Dallas. Dallas
Mm-hmm.
turned their team around so much, and the biggest loser of that division, Nashville and Winnipeg, because they have to play in that division.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
Um,
I'm sorry, Nashville and Winnipeg. Try to find a new division or something.
hmm A very close second place, St. Louis.
Yeah, with Paul Stastny, yeah.
hmm But I do agree. Dallas definitely won this free agency by division because, you know, now all of a sudden they're a team to watch. They're a scary team all of a sudden.
Yeah. They definitely changed their GM has done such a great job the past 2 years since he
Oh.
was joined. I mean, first
hmm
getting Tyler Seguin to complement Jamie Benn, now getting Spezza and Alice Hemsky. They're tearing their team around a lot.
Now
So,
the Pacific Division.
I think it's kind of a wash with them.
Yeah.
I can't really see a team that stands out. I mean, you're gonna get Anaheim, San Jose, and Los Angeles battling for the top three. I don't remember who. I don't think Phoenix got anybody big. Vancouver, they got Ryan Miller, so that helps them out a lot. Calgary got Jonas Hiller, which helps them out a lot, but they lost Mike Camilleri. And Edmonton's Edmonton. You can't really expect much from them. What do you think?
I guess I may go with the default selection here and say that Los Angeles won the free agency by automatically by winning the Stanley Cup
That's
because
true.
they
Yeah.
didn't have to do anything. They could have done stuff and just fucked with the whole team entirely, but they didn't. I'm
That,
not I'm not saying that took like a whole lot of restraint, but
I mean, they didn't buy out Richards like they wanted to, so.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, the next is Atlantic Division. I would have to say, I feel like Florida or Buffalo won. They chopped the rebuilding time in half this offseason. Like, they were probably like 2-3 years out from maybe making noise. But getting the players they got back, they have increased. They decreased their rebuild, in my opinion.
Florida, on the other hand, it felt to me like they were just kind of in this weird kind of state of whatever. You could say they were in a rebuilding process. Then again,
Yeah.
you could easily turn around and say they weren't really rebuilding, but
they were just getting by.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't be in a rebuild for 10 plus years.
No. Unless you're Edmonton, of course.
I mean, they did make the playoffs like 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how they did. And it's because they won their division. That was back when the divisions were the other way. And they almost got past the first round of the playoffs too. They took the Devils to second overtime in Game 7 or something.
Oh yes.
So they've done something this year. We're not sure if it's good or bad.
And for me, my winner, I will have to go with Florida because they get a really interesting cast. They got a lot of defense too, and on top of getting Aaron Ekblad, they're going to be doing a lot better this coming season.
Hope they
I'm
don't
sure
screw
of
up
it.
Aaron Ekblad.
Mm-hmm.
So, and who do you think lost?
Oh, who I think? Well, I suppose since you bring that up, let's kind of backtrack to the Central real quick.
I thought
Winnipeg lost the Central. of course.
Yeah, I said Winnipeg, Nashville.
hmm Um,
Edmonton, I feel lost the Pacific, but
yeah,
that's because it's Edmonton.
but yeah, that one's kind of a whitewash for me.
Yeah, none of
Um,
them really like.
yeah, that division just kind of I guess stayed neutral a little bit.
Yeah.
They may be the same. Who lost the Atlantic?
I would
I'm gonna
say
have to say
I would go with Boston because they couldn't really do much.
I will I will
Boston got
go with
destroyed.
Ottawa because they
Oh yeah, Ottawa.
they could do a
Yeah,
whole lot, but they didn't. They refused to do a whole lot.
Ottawa lost. So, and then Metropolitan.
And the big winner,
Islanders. I feel like it's the Islanders for me. The Islanders significantly improved their predicament.
oh yes, um, they shore up their goaltending, and they did a real good job of doing that early.
Mm,
That was the key right there to get that done early, very early,
hmm
and they get a couple of other kind of pickups. Their defense, excuse me, their defense might be um, would definitely still need
Suspect.
some form of improvement, but
I feel like
uh,
they did the best in the Metropolitan Division.
yeah. hmm And the big loser,
Carolina.
um,
Carolina for me.
yeah, I suppose Carolina.
They did
Um,
nothing of note.
hmm I think they're kind of like Florida too, as
They're
in they're
they're
they're in this weird state
mediocre.
of they don't know where they're at. They don't know if it should be a rebuilding year, but what would they have to rebuild from? Um, or if they're just like getting by at this point.
I mean, they have a very good, 1-2 punch on that first line with no 1-2-3 punch on the first line with uh Semin, Stahl, and Skinner. So
hmm
they should be doing better than they are, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It is what it is. Jordan Stahl is your second line center. Should be doing better.
And I guess that might be what's holding the front office back from signing people. Is they still have hope in the Stalls and Skinner.
Yeah, so we have a few questions here if you do agree on Carolina losing it all.
Oh yeah,
So
but,
we have a couple questions from Twitter. I guess we should answer. It's from Pika Good Living. Best value signing, worst value signing, most confusing signing. Best worst value has to be Orpik.
mm-hmm.
I think the best would have to. I would say Havlet. For
Hmm.
the player he is, getting him only for a year at like 1.5 $2 million. Not bad at all.
Uh,
For
and the most confusing signing for you?
Poland,
Oh,
5 years,
well, okay.
5 years,
Uh,
$5 million. I mean,
Oh, yeah. And for me, best value. This one's going to be kind of an interesting question because you can say this either way. Spezza because they got Hemsky, but you can also say Hemsky because they got Spezza. You know,
that's not a real signing for
I
Spezza.
mean,
Yeah, but well, I'll take it.
okay, yeah. Um, Worst value. I guess I would say Orpik. Just kind of go with the flow, go with what everyone's saying there. But I have a feeling there was some other
And there's probably something else, but
bad
Orpik
value
kind of.
deals up there.
And most confusing.
Most confusing. I'm not sure about Bolin. Um, I think
Not
he
worth
might.
$5 million a year.
Well, um, you know, I, I just assume, maybe it'll work out for Florida there with Bolin.
Yeah. So who knows?
Yeah, can't can't really think of a more confusing one that made me really made me raise my eyebrow.
So, and if you had the cap space, which remaining free agent would you sign?
Uh,
Let's see what the remaining free agents are.
let's see. Um, if we were to put this into your respective team and their needs and who you would like to see re-sign or sign, um, perhaps another center. Like who are all the centers that were
Hmm.
in the free agency? If you could look that up, please.
That's Cap Geek. You'll help me out better than NHL.com will for this. Players, free agents, all skaters, centers, unrestricted free agents apply. Well, Mike Ribeiro is the top.
Wow.
David Legwand, Derek Roy, Saku Koivu, and Steve Otts. Michael Hanzus are basically the tops. You signed Scott Gomez again.
Oh God.
He was on your team, right?
I think so.
Did he go to you
Uh,
guys after he was bought out?
by
Uh, Montreal.
oh
Or he went to the Florida and the Sharks?
yeah. Hmm.
I think so. Yeah.
You know, I suppose out of that list, I wouldn't mind us seeing re-sign Derek Roy.
Really?
Hmm. I know a lot of people aren't too high on him, but
Hmm.
if you were to quickly look at his stats from this season, he wasn't all that bad.
Derek Roy. His stats were. He got 9 goals, 28 assists for 37 points, 30 penalty minutes in
All
17
those
games.
assists too. Derek Roy's not one to be a goal scorer,
So.
but man, he can set up. He can set them up real well,
So.
and he's that good setup man that we like to have. My answer, Derek Roy.
To me, there's no good left wingers out in the market, and defensemen. I don't see any good defensemen that I really want. Michael Del Zotto, I guess, maybe.
Oh.
I think that's about it.
Hmm.
Tony Pickett's still on the market, but Anton Volchenkov, which no. I don't really see a defenseman I really want, so I don't know who I would sign. But I don't have the cap space anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. Can't even play pretend that I have the cap space.
Now let's put it this way: if I guess at the start of the off season, I guess when you had all the players that needed to be re-signed, which one would you could only pick one? Which one would you want to re-sign?
We had all of our core players already signed.
Hmm. Well,
Let me see.
you're complicated, Dave.
Kimo Timonen was the
Yeah,
one to be resigned most.
there we are.
Kimo Timonen and was that everybody that we could be have resigned? I think. Who else was supposed to? Oh, Braden Shen was an RFA, so we re-signed him already. It took us a little bit to re-sign him. I think that was it. Yeah, we don't really have anybody else. We wanted a new goaltender, but Ray Emery works as a backup. That's about it.
Hmm.
And no other questions I really want to answer. So.
No.
Okay, so I guess I'll end this. I am Dave Ball, also known as Blinson on Reddit and at Blinson1 on Twitter. That has been Blake, known as Shat and My Kirk on Twitter, and at B-Town Bomb on Reddit. We are Our HockeyCast. You can find us on the web at ourhockeycast.com. You can go to our subreddit, which is r/r/ourhockeycast. We should have another show coming up tonight starting between 11 and 1 a.m. for the our hockey after hour. They get into some funny shenanigans, so you can listen to them if you want. And you can follow us on Twitter at ourhockeycast. So, you have anything else left to say before I sign us out?
That'll do it for me.
Okay. Have a good night, everybody.
Alrighty.